Hi, welcome to the Blitz Online edition. I'm Josh. I'm working on my zombie lumberjack Halloween costume coming up.
It's looking good.
Yeah, it's not looking bad.
With me is Fong and Colin. They're cleverly disguised as journalists.
I'm trying to compete with the beard. You guys probably can't see it though.
Oh, we're here to talk about Week 7 and get into Week 8's action coming up. But we'll start off with a rainy, miserable night in Vandalia where Troy struggled to move the ball against Butler.
I mean, you can blame the rain and the weather a little bit if you want, but at the end, Troy just didn't execute. They fumbled the ball away 3 times. They had 1 interception. They just didn't play very well on offense. They only had 3 first downs and 57 yards in total offense, and I don't know if anybody can win any game doing that.
And with a game coming up against Trotwood this week, their offense not being able to move, that seems like it's not a good thing.
You got a struggling offense going up against a defense that features 6 future Big Ten players, so it could be a tough going for the Trojans this Friday night for sure.
We got a SWBL game with a bunch of guys that you're going to get to know a little better today. Milton Union crushing winless Preble Shawnee 61-0. Running the ball, passing the ball, it's just nobody can get past their offensive line.
It's been their secret to success all year, and I mean, I see it continuing as they go against Dixie this week.
We had a surprise game. Tip struggled at Stebbins a little bit. They went down 20-13 in the third quarter against 2-win Stebbins. And, at the end, it took Jacob Hall to win this game.
I'm not so sure this is a bad thing. In the long run, I think this is going to, it's kind of like taking medicine. Maybe bitter to the taste, but in the long run, it's going to do you a lot of good. And I think that's what's going to happen with Tippecanoe. They needed a game like this, to kind of wake them up and let them know that, they got to play 4 quarters every single week they go out. So I think in the long run, it's going to be a good thing for Tip.
Yeah, it definitely will be. Playing in a close game like this, I mean, there's only been one other game that they've really been remotely challenged in this year against Milton. And I mean, that's definitely going to help them just going into the playoffs, and yeah, it'll definitely help them down the road.
I think maybe they might have been looking ahead to these last 3 games they got coming up.
They could have been. They could have been.
We got our game of the week. We had Miami East hosting Tri-County North, and this was just just another wet and wild, just ugly game. Freshman quarterback Braxton Donaldson did well, but he fumbled a bunch of snaps in the second half thanks to that wetness, and Tri-County North was able to capitalize.
That's a real tough loss for Miami East, obviously. It puts a big dent in. I won't say their league championship hopes, because I think we all think Covington's got it wrapped up, but I think it puts a huge dent in their playoff hopes.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, going into last week, I believe they were 16th or 17th in their region, and I mean, that loss was just detrimental to them. And it could have been a different story, I mean, they had these 3 games in a row they had to win. It's just unfortunate.
Well, and like I said, freshman Braxton Donaldson starting after Connor Hellier got knocked out in that Covington game. He passed the ball well. He handled himself well. He converted some 4th downs where Max Current said, "You're a freshman, so what? I'm giving you the ball. Make this play," and he made those plays.
But it's those turnovers. Those will kill you.
Well, and they weren't helped by 1 4th down call also, which it wasn't really a call. It was a spot where Colton Halicki, he needed to get to the 35, and his full body was beyond it, and they moved the ball when they spotted it right back to the original line of scrimmage at the 36, and that cost Milton valuable time at the end of the game. Miami East.
For those who don't know, Braxton Donaldson is the future. I mean, the football pedigree is there. His dad played at Eastern Kentucky. His uncle Craig played at the University of Toledo. He's going to be a serious football player for Miami East before it's all said and done. But it sounds like the future may be sooner as opposed to later.
Well, and Connor Hellier, he was having a great season too. He was one of the better passers in the county statistically, and there's a chance he might come back too. I mean, they're going to have a good 2 quarterback system if they ever need one.
Yep.
We've got Covington manhandling Twin Valley South 55-14.
Next.
Not much to say about that. Bradford, surprisingly, James Cannon back after being injured the week before.
He's a tough dude.
46-13. Bradford still 6-1.
13 carries for 281 yards. Ridiculous. James Cannon.
And on a bum shoulder, was it?
I think it was shoulder. I didn't really get confirmation on that, but yeah, he definitely got knocked out that game.
It's a magical season for Bradford, it would appear.
They're sitting currently. They're sitting in 5th in the playoffs. in the playoff race, and they could theoretically move up to 4th. This game against Miami East is going to be big for them.
If Bradford hosts a playoff game, it's going to be bigger than any pumpkin festival they've ever had in that town. And they've had some doozies when it comes to pumpkin festivals.
And we've got one where National Trail, I think, might have been surprised a little bit. We weren't, but in the end, National Trail still, they're only a one-loss team also. They held off Bethel 9-7.
It's exciting. Like for National Trail, I know they had the big story in the Dayton paper last week. I mean, they're a good team, but like argument's been all year, they haven't played anybody yet, and I think they're going to get exposed this week.
Yeah, I think reality's going to hit them pretty hard this week.
But Bethel, as we've been saying, they're just getting better and better, challenging a 5-1 team at the time.
Right.
But Bethel's they've got pretty much the inside track to finish 500 now.
Yep, absolutely.
Piqua and Sydney finished up 12-3. Piqua finally getting a win after giving up 70-plus points in the past 2 games combined. Schedule finally helped them a little bit.
There's a big difference between playing Springboro and Trotwood and then playing Sydney, and I think Piqua's going to find out again this week when they play Greenville. The quality of competition makes a huge difference. And
then Lehman continues to be our bane in picks. They knock off Waynesfield Goshen one week, and then 1-5 Fairbanks comes to town, and they lose 40-33.
There's no predicting anymore. You know what? Just count it as a lot. It doesn't matter how you pick. You're probably going to miss that one.
I think they might have been looking past Fairbanks a little bit, or just came in a little bit overconfident. Maybe
it hurt me here. Tell you that much.
Looking ahead to who? 0-7 Upper Scioto? I can't figure it out. I don't think anybody can figure out what's wrong with Lehman, why they're so up and down.
They're still young. They're still figuring it out. So
obviously,
they've up and down is just the way it goes whenever you're rebuilding still.
Absolutely.
Well, we've got a segment this week since we actually didn't have any rain. Here's Colin to tell you a little bit about Milton Union's potent offensive line.
Well, it's no secret for the last couple of years, Milton's had some pretty good running backs. Jake Finfrock, a record-breaking running back last year, and this year Tyler Brown. Heck, they have 4 guys over 4 guys over 400 yards, which is
4 over 300, yeah.
4 over 300, whatever. A big reason for that has been their offensive line, and they got some big guys up front, and I think either of those backs would be the first to tell you that it starts up front.
My first time out in the field was overwhelming to finally reach my dream that I've been waiting for since I was a little kid in Pee Wee. It was just a great experience.
Yep, that line's very strong.
I think it's good that our O-line plays together, but we can trust our backs in the backfield to get the job done too. I think it's a big thing.
Okay.
Being able to trust in your quarterback and your running backs.
We have had a lot of injuries to running backs. It's just one of those freak things this year. However, whoever we plug in has been able to churn out yards and get us points and get us wins, and the reason is because of those 6 guys up front blocking. They're giving holes that you and I could run through.
And what's your guys' relationship been like on the field?
Brothers. Yeah, we're really close.
And now on to Week 8's games. We've got Trotwood going to Troy, defending Division II state champion against 3-4, 4-3?
3-4.
3-4 Troy.
You know, obviously Troy has pulled some big upsets in the past, whether it be 2009, the win over Wayne, or 2007, the win over Piqua, or wins over Centerville, and that sort of thing. But I just don't know if they've got what it takes. I do think it'll be a close game. Troy will definitely keep it close. Their defense has kept them in every game, even when they've been overmatched a little bit. But I just don't know if they can score enough points against this Trotwood defense with that many superstars on defense, if Troy can score enough points to win this game. I think they'll keep it closer than a lot of people expect. But in the end, I just don't know that Troy has the horses to be able to score enough points on offense.
Yeah, I also see that as a problem. I think Trotwood's defense is going to be too good for Troy's offense to keep up with. And I mean, like you said, I think they will definitely keep it close because they've done that all year. If they can do that, maybe they'll have a shot at winning in the end. But I don't see it happening. I think Trotwood will win.
They lost those 4 games by a combined 20 points or so, is it?
Right.
And I don't know. I think this one game might top that. But, Troy will keep it closer than people think. But a lot of people think Trotwood's just going to run away with this. So right. I'm giving them maybe 3 scores against, Trotwood's just, they're the state champs coming back. Troy's knocked off one state champ or one state runner-up already this year in Springfield Shawnee. But I think this is a little bit different beast.
This is a whole different story than Springfield Shawnee.
Speaking of the CBC, Tip is hosting Tecumseh in their homecoming game, and 7-0 Tip, 5-2 Tecumseh just got done beating that same Shawnee team. I think Tip got a little bit of a wake-up call. I think maybe they were looking ahead to some of these games, and I think now that these games are here, they're going to be back to their regular selves. I think the Red Devils roll.
I think they're going to be ready to go for sure.
Yeah, I'm picking Tip in this game too. I think that game will definitely help them that they had last week as they prepare for the next stretch of games they have to finish out the season. And I know it's a pretty tough schedule. So
And the game against Stebbins actually kind of hurt them a little bit. They slipped into 5th place in the playoff standings. So at the moment they're on the road, but with these 3 games coming up, if they win them all, they're going to collect quite a few points.
If they win out, they'll host.
And Trotwood right now is sitting in 7th place. So I don't know if hosting a game would be a good thing if Trotwood is hanging around in those bottom 4 spots. Nobody wants them to come to town.
Nobody wants to see Trotwood, especially in the postseason.
We got Dixie going to Milton Union, yet another homecoming game. Milton Union's got the inside track for the SWBL Buckeye title. Dixie's 5-2. They're with 1 league loss to Waynesville. I think Milton Union is going to pick up some computer points here too for the playoffs. I think they're going to put Dixie away.
I think Milton Union has too much on the line with it being homecoming, a chance at a league championship, all the computer points on the line. I don't think they're going to let Dixie wreck their season.
No, they aren't. And that loss to Waynesville, their first league loss, I mean, they got handled pretty badly too. I think Milton's going to be offensively ready to go, and I think their defense is going to be too good for Dixie. They'll win.
And Waynesville's coming up next week for Milton as well. That was their stumbling point last season, both in the regular season and in the playoffs. So, but Waynesville lost its quarterback to graduation, so I think that's going to be a little bit different. Milton wins out. They're in 6th in the playoff chase right now. They could be hosting. Game of the week this week, Bradford going to Miami East. 6-1 Bradford against kind of struggling Miami East now. Miami East is at the tail end of its meat grinder of a schedule, and James Cannon is any healthier than last week. This could be really tough for Miami East.
I tell you what, the one thing I think that Miami East does have going for it is Max Current. In 1998, Max Current was the defensive coordinator in Greenville when Troy had a running back named Ryan Brewer, who would go on to win Mr. Football Ohio that year. And it was obviously they played in the last game of the season, and all Troy was trying to do was get Ryan Brewer the state rushing record. They gave him the ball like 40 times, 45, 50 times, and he only gained just a shade over 200 yards. Max Current can devise a defense to slow down James Cannon. However, will it be enough to stop him? I don't think so. I think Bradford's just got a lot going for it, and Miami, I think, is struggling a little bit right now. But don't be surprised if Max Current can pull something out of his defensive bag of tricks.
It'll be interesting to see if they can, too, because, I mean, he's pretty much ran over every team he's played. Cannon has. I mean, even Covington, he had some big runs against them.
Mm-hmm.
If Miami East comes to play as a team on defense, they got a shot. I'm leaning towards them in this game. That's been a toss-up all week, so I'm going to lean towards Miami East because they're at home, and I think they're due for a win. They're due for a win.
They're definitely due for one, but I mean Bradford's already shown that they can put games away without Cannon in the backfield. So even if Current can stop him, he's still got a number of other people to deal with. I think Miami's offense needs a little kick to get going, and Bradford's defense has been playing pretty well this past few weeks.
Yeah.
And I think Bradford
I think that's their downfall, though, Bradford.
Their defense.
They've been known to give up some points this year.
To Covington particularly.
Yeah. Well, not just
they had the
National Trail.
slugfest against National Trail.
That's going to be their Achilles heel, even if they make playoffs this year, I think.
There's Bradford sitting in 5th right now, going to St. Henry if they get into the playoffs. But this game at East, if Bradford wins this, that's a ton of points. That's probably a home game for them right there, playing up a division.
Bigger than the Pumpkin Festival. Forget the confetti. Oh, they're going to have to save up their confetti and use it at the playoff game.
Ansonia's traveling to Bethel, 1-6 versus 2-5. I think this is another one of those where Bethel, Bethel's going to overmatch Ansonia here, and I've got Bethel going 500 and winning out.
I agree. I agree with you. I think their schedule plays out nicely for them to finish up well. Like I said, we've said all season this is what they've been building toward, and I think you're going to see the fruits of those labors come to fruition here in the last few weeks of the season.
Yeah, I'm going Bethel in this game too. Just based on the body of work both these teams came in with, I think Bethel's clearly putting up a game against National Trail last week. I mean, that's more than Ansonia could say. I think Bethel wins it pretty easily.
Speaking of National Trail, we've got record-wise, we've got the game of the week: 7-0 Covington, 6-1 National Trail. But nobody's sold. Nobody's sold on National Trail quite yet with those 6 wins.
I'm not sold on anybody who's playing Covington at this time of year right now. I don't care who it is. I think we're all going to go with the Buccaneers on this one.
No doubt about it.
Bucks are winning by more than 6 touchdowns.
Oh yes,
throwing that out there.
We've got Piqua hosting Greenville. Piqua coming off of a win, and now they've got 1-6 Greenville coming to town. Piqua's going to take care of this one.
Piqua will take care of business. The worst part about this is it's not being played at Greenville, so the bus can't stop and pick up a couple sacks of maid rights on the way home.
Yeah, Piqua's going to win this game. Like I said, even based on this game's body or these two teams' body of work, I think Piqua, you got to give them the edge in this game.
And finally, we got Lehman going to Upper Scioto. Upper Scioto's winless. They're 0-7. Lehman's 3-4. But I mean, we saw last week how much records matter. I think Lehman. Maybe the rain bothered them.
Rain, sleet, snow, sun. I'm gonna pick Lehman and hold my breath and see what happens. 'Cause that's all we've been able to do all year with these guys.
I'm in the same boat on that one. I'm taking Lehman over a winless team.
Yes. Just don't break my heart again, Lehman. Just don't break it, man. Just don't break it.
That's all for the Blitz this week. I'm Josh. This is Fong and Colin. We'll see you next time.